Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I missed last week. We had some things happen in our family that were pretty devastating. So, took some time last week to process and work, just navigate that. But I am back today, and I think this message today is cannot be more timely. I have posted a quote out there before, something to the effect of everything you want is on the other side of an uncomfortable conversation. And my coach, Rich Litvin, said that to me. I heard him say that years ago. Everything you want is on the other side of an uncomfortable conversation. This morning, I was scrolling the old Instagram stories, and Ed Milet came on, and he said, when you communicate, you reduce tension. And I just thought, yes, yes, but communication is so hard. Communication is so hard. And especially when we are talking about it in, I'll even say just like finances, in relationships, when you're talking about sex, it feels really hard because you're coming oftentimes from a wounded space. Your partner, who the person that you're talking to, is coming from their own experiences and their own wounded spaces. And so when you try and communicate, oftentimes it's just talking, oftentimes it's words coming out, but it's not true communication. And it feels like it's so hard that you don't even want to do it, and oftentimes you don't, right? Because the outcome of it isn't that what you wanted. It isn't what you thought you needed. It isn't what you expected to happen, right? And so I just thought that, these two messages, knowing that one is one of my most favorite quotes, and then hearing this morning, when you communicate, you reduce the tension. I just thought, yes, where can I communicate more effectively? Where can I communicate more effectively? You might, I know I have done this. I'm just curious if you've done it too, but you need to say something to somebody, and it literally just feels so uncomfortable that the thought of speaking up, the thought of um, potentially hurting their feelings, the thought of causing anything that, to put a relationship on, the fritz, to uh, I mean, you know it, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And how much of the time we just don't speak what we need to speak. I also, about maybe 3 weeks ago, for shoot, almost 5 weeks ago now, I cannot believe it's been that long. I had a session with somebody, and she did some energy healing with me, and one of the things that came up was my throat chakra. And your throat chakra is responsible for, your speaking, right? And not speaking your truth, not speaking authentically. And I knew instantly when she said, "Oh, there's a chakra coming up," and I knew instantly it was my throat chakra. One thing that I have always struggled with, is how I communicate. And, it's so interesting because I want so desperately, I want people to hear the heart behind my words. I want people to hear the heart behind the message. My message oftentimes comes out really bold, and it might come out accusatory. And I go back and forth on, like, Sarah, you need to find another way to say it. But do I really? Like, is that living into who I am? Or is that trying to dumb down, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but try to change how I speak just so other people, it's more palatable for other people? Is there a way to communicate that people can hear your message that it is more effective. Like, these are the thoughts that go through my mind, and I'm really, really curious what your thoughts are. I feel like I'm a bold person. Like, I feel like I am, like, tell it like it is, because that's what I want. That's what I need. I don't want people to sugarcoat shit for me. I want people to be real. And yet here I am, not being real as to who I am and speaking out in a way that is truly authentic to me, because I'm changing. I've always tried to change. So, not always. For a lot of my life, I've tried to change the way and how I deliver my message, because I was so afraid of how people were going to respond to it. In that they're not hearing the heart behind the message, they're not hearing the heart behind the words. And so I'm just curious, when you communicate, you reduce the tension. This whole thing about communication, I'm really, really genuinely curious on your thoughts. I'm curious of what you think. I'm curious on being yourself versus learning maybe communication techniques that are more effective. Like, where's the duality in that? Where's the balance in that? Where Share your thoughts, please. I am here for them. So, with that, I will just say happy Monday. Share your thoughts, please. I genuinely want to hear them. So, I will say goodbye for now, my friend. We'll talk soon.